Across highways, truck stops, and depot bays, something is quietly shifting. The shift towards zero-emission trucks isn't just an idea anymore. It's already on the ground. Pilots are running, technologies are evolving, costs are reducing. Drivers are happier, and the questions are getting more real every day. This is GetZET, an initiative by the Center of Excellence for Zero-Emission Trucking. In each episode, we dive into the rise of ZETs, from charging time to finance, and from safety to pickup improvement, and the real-world impact of it all.
In our last episode, we laid the foundation for zero-emission trucks, ZETs. We saw what they really were and why they're important and why they matter to the country. Today, we'll shift gears. We'll try to understand how vehicle manufacturers, the original equipment manufacturers, how are they embracing this transition? How are they looking forward to the migration of diesel to zero-emission trucking? The role of truck manufacturers in the transition to zero-emission trucks is both pivotal and complex. As climate goals tighten and market dynamics shift, manufacturers are under increasing pressure to innovate, scale production of cleaner technologies, and support ecosystem development, all while staying commercially viable in a competitive market both for themselves and for their customers. Manufacturers are at the heart of this movement, tasked with reimagining heavy-duty vehicle design, engineering, and production. While many have already begun investing in electric and hydrogen fuel cell platforms, questions remain around pace, policy support, infrastructure readiness, and customer acceptance. In this episode, we'll hear Ashok Leyland's vision, we'll hear about their strategy, and we'll also hear about their roadmap towards sustainable transportation and zero-emission trucking, while exploring the various challenges faced by Ashok Leyland when they took this up. Joining us today is Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, President, Trucks Business, Ashok Leyland. Sanjeev, who is a good friend, he's not only helped scale Ashok Leyland's trucking business to new heights, but also ensured that Ashok Leyland is providing the necessary skills required to keep the country moving safely and smoothly through this transition. Welcome, Sanjeev.
Hi, Karthik.
What does the transition to zero-emission truck mean for legacy OEM like Ashok Leyland? Could you share your thoughts with us, please?
Ashok Leyland has a rich legacy of 75 years. And during this journey, we have seen many transitions. Now we are talking of this transition to zero-emission trucking. I think for us, it's once-in-lifetime incidents. And as an organization, we are totally committed to it. While Government of India is talking about 2070 as a target for achieving zero emission, we at Ashok Leyland have much stiffer targets. We have a complete range of trucks and buses, starting from LCVs to 55-tonner. So I think we are really excited about this journey. And in last few years, we have invested heavily into EVs.
What Sanjeev is talking to us about is the Government of India's commitment to go to net zero by 2070 at a country level. And what Ashok Leyland announced a couple of years ago is a net zero target for 2048. That is a good 22 years before the rest of the country, and a very visionary target. But tell me, Sanjeev, how do you plan to balance the legacy business with the upcoming new technologies? How do you approach it across the organization?
When we look at Indian CV industry, different kind of applications call for different vehicles also. So when you're looking at long haul, probably LNG seems to be more suited to those applications. However, when we look at port operations, small haul operations, EV seems to be a good bet. And a lot of it will depend in terms of how those charging infra is coming up, how these batteries, what kind of range we are able to provide. So it's a combination of, many factors which will define how industry is going to work. But when I look at Ashok Leyland, yes, we are preparing ourselves to be ready with all those technologies. And as we have seen in the past also, which technology is going to kind of pick up, A lot will depend in terms of what kind of incentives or what kind of motivation government is going to give to different technologies, and accordingly, we need to be ready. We saw in past also that suddenly there was a huge rush for CNG vehicles at one particular point when there was a big differential between CNG and diesel, and some of the manufacturers, they were caught napping. So right now I would say that we at Ashok Leyland, we are readying ourselves with all kinds of technologies, all kinds of alternate fuels, and waiting to see how things will pick up.
You were talking about the applications, the steel sector, the cement sector, etc. Most of trucking is sensitive to time, right? The perishables person feels that he has the tightest timeline. The guy who's carrying refrigerated goods, he says he's got the toughest timeline. Amazon guys are used to tough timelines as well. It's not that the cement guy is going to be able to give too much extra time. So everybody's got time as important consideration. And what we've been hearing about the 200 trucks that are running in the country today, especially the ones which are running the Ashok Leyland trucks as well, we are hearing that they manage a higher average speed on the highway compared to the diesel truck. So in which of these applications do you see the greater power of electric trucks becoming an advantage over a diesel truck?
We made a few tractors and one 90-tonner truck, and we gave these vehicles for different application trials. And wherever we have given this truck, the feedback from driver is these trucks, they have better pulling power. They are able to reach their destination faster than diesel trucks. We have done trials between Bombay and Pune, which has got a lot of ghats with steel coils, and the performance has been better than our normal 55-tonner diesel. We did a trial with one of those customer which deals with packaged food, and they were so happy with the performance of the truck. Now they have decided to convert entire fleet of 100 19-tonners to EV trucks. Similarly, we are doing trials with sugar companies in North, and response has been good. So overall, I think this acceptance of EV trucks in different applications seems to be good in terms of turnaround time. Very shortly, you will hear about our trucks being used by Amazon vendors also. We all know Amazon has a very strict timelines in terms of deliveries of their goods, but we have started doing some trials with them also, and it's looking positive. I think other than that cost of the asset, the rest of it is falling in line, I would say.
It'll be interesting to see a product strategy in the context of when you expect to reach full zero emission. I know you've targeted 2048, you've announced that, but how do you see the product strategy falling into that?
So Karthik, it's, when you look at Indian CV industry, you would recall that we started with buses, and then, slowly this is happening in LCVs also. And when you look at how bus volumes are increasing, I'm really encouraged by that. And of course, talking about trucks, right now volumes of EV trucks are very low, and this would need support from all the stakeholders, as I mentioned earlier also. How government is going to support this, how load providers, especially in cement and steel sector, are going to support this cause, and finally how customers are going to respond. I've been engaging with many customers. While many of them are interested in this EV trucks, but they don't seem to be making up their mind. They are not sure about TCO at this juncture, and they are probably waiting for some other customers to kind of take that leap of faith and then move forward. I may not be able to kind of communicate when we see a major volumes coming up in EV trucks.
From your experience and your interaction with customers and with your colleagues in supply chain and product development, etc., as of today, where do you see the biggest challenge? And let's say 5 years down the line, where would you see the biggest challenge?
See, as you know, we have been legacy diesel player, and we have well-established supply chain for diesel vehicles. So when it comes to EVs, the major components in these EV trucks, whether it is battery, motors, etc., everything is imported, and it, we need to depend to a country which is where we face a lot of uncertainties. And apart from supply chain, we need to look at continuous change in the costs also. So, when we started this whole journey probably 3 years back, cost of batteries were very high. Of course, it kept coming down. But when it comes to executing certain orders, we find that it's a big challenge. You need to have all the components in place, and those timelines keep differing. So unless we start working on localizing those components, at some point of time it will create a challenge for us. You asked about what is going to happen after what challenges we will face after 5 years. So yes, as an organization, we are working to address some of these concerns in next 5 years.
And do you see the technology being a challenge, or is that something which is mature enough for us to take it for granted for performance, safety, etc.?
We spoke about modular truck. So one advantage which Ashok Leyland has is our understanding of customers and their applications. And our modular platform can actually work on any of the technologies. Modular platform right now, which we are giving to the customers in diesel, same is available for even EV trucks. We have been doing a lot of user trials in last 4-5 months, and a lot of learning is also coming out of that. And so, it's right now I would say that we are going through this learning, and at some point of time we'll kind of have our own fix in terms of how to address those challenges. But yes, at this juncture, I would say we are in a learning curve.
So from our observation and experience, it appears that the core technology is fairly simple now, and it is mature for exploitation. But how it is exploited, I think there are quite a few opportunities and learnings, as you were saying. Recently, there was an announcement, without quoting the sources, media has announced that the government is looking at toll waiver. Now, toll waiver is, depending on the route, it's anywhere between 6 rupees to 12 rupees per kilometer. And that's broadly the TCO gap. Do you think these announcements, if they become reality, do you think enough is being planned and talked about? Or is there something else that we need to have government support us?
See, ultimately, if we really want this penetration to EV truck penetration to improve, government has to kind of create a program which to help this whole process gain momentum. While we spoke about right now, I think EV trucks, they attract 5% GST. So maybe there is a case for GST exemption for EV trucks. And you rightly said that today toll charges are are as important as fuel for any trucker, and waiver of toll charges will definitely help, and something to do with the increase in GVW to just manage the increase in truck weight because of batteries. This is also becoming a hindrance to create trucks with a higher range also. As you add batteries, your payload is getting compromised.
So we were talking about costs, Sanjeev. I understand it's the biggest challenge as of today. What are some of the solutions that you foresee?
So my sense is, ultimately, apart from government, you need to look at stakeholders, the load providers. Some of the, just to give you a sense of what we have witnessed in some of the cement companies, while they are not going to provide anything extra in terms of freight, but they are ready to give you green channel for customers. They are ready to commit in terms of particular kilometers of running for those trucks. So yes, I think it's a combination of government policies, it's a combination of load providers and their thought process, in terms of how fast they want to adopt to this green technology. And most important thing is, I would say, how OEM is going to make this truck affordable to the customer. I think ultimately TCO needs to fit in. And for that to fit in, the cost of the asset needs to be, it has to come down. While it is coming down, but it can probably come down further depending on how, cost of battery or motor is going to come down. And the most important thing is the availability of charging stations, cost of the power. I think these are the two other factors which will influence, which can actually positively influence the adoption of EV trucks.
Do you see new business models coming into this, etc.? What's your take on this?
We recently heard about MG creating this battery as a service, which is kind of saying that we take care of fuel, you run the vehicle, and it's so we need to see how this as a concept is going to catch up, and definitely once you address battery, which is a major cost component for EV truck, TCO, suddenly it becomes very attractive for any operator. And we need to kind of work with some of the interested parties, some of the financiers, and to see whether this as a concept can be, replicated in trucks. So as of now, I think we are in, initial phase where we are making these stakeholders understand about EV trucks. But at some point of time, this can work as a solution.
Do you see this driving some sort of collaboration between the OEMs themselves, where let's say Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland sit together and address, or SIAM, they sit together and address the business model needs with the financiers? Do you see such collaborations as being helpful?
Definitely. In fact, I spoke about things where we need support from government. Definitely, SIAM is a platform where, all those OEMs can come together and work closely with SIAM in terms of what support we need from the government. And second thing, which I felt basis what we have observed in China, where, batteries swapping as a concept is slowly becoming popular, and which addresses concern about, the time operator is going to waste in terms of charging the battery at, let's say, wherever you have a charging station. And for that to happen, if we kind of, if all the OEMs, they work together and kind of work on creating standard pack of batteries, this will really help. So yes, I think basis my limited knowledge, I feel working with government, working with probably, on these battery packs, and there can be many more, working with even financiers and insurance companies together to give them a confidence that, that we stand behind this technology. Ultimately, for financiers, resale value of the vehicle once, customer gives it back, or how do they dispose of the vehicle in case customer surrenders the vehicle. So they need that support, that confidence from established players like Ashok Leyland or our colleagues in the industry.
So if I were to say over the next 10 years and over the next 20 years, what's your gut feel number? That what do you think, what percentage of TIV, the industry sales, will be electric? I know it's crystal ball gazing. It's not based on data and facts, but what's your gut feel? What is your thought? 2035, how do you see industry selling?
Before I talk about numbers, as I mentioned, incentives, policies, they are going to be major driver. Something like PME drive, while I feel that the quantum of money available is too low, infrastructure, especially rapid charging infrastructure. I mean, still, customers have this anxiety about range. So these are some of the factors for which we are still trying to find answers. Having said that, I also happen to meet some large corporates who are very keen to make this change, in terms of vendors they are engaging with, in terms of their own purchase, where they are very keen to make their move towards this EV ecosystem. That to me is a very encouraging sign that yes, this change is being actually discussed and will get implemented at least by some of the corporates. So I feel that while right now it is not even 1% in trucks, at some point of time, definitely we should hit double-digit penetration.
For your information, CoEZET IIT Madras, we've just completed our analysis. It took us 18 months. We went application-wise. We saw the challenges in infrastructure for that. We saw the TCO evolving for that. Up to 2035, it's less than 10%. And what happens is after that, something similar to what happened for multi-axle vehicles, it just zooms up. So it's an extremely steep hockey stick. And we are seeing that even if we don't do anything, by about 2057, we are 100% ZET. And by with policy support in toll and some subsidies, it's at about 2047. So now we'll move on to how the ground actually uses and feels about the zero emission trucks, the operators, the drivers, how they are perceiving zero emission trucks, especially the electric trucks. So Sanjeev, we have a few more questions about what operators and drivers have raised. But before that, what's the feedback you have received from operators about electric truck?
Right now, whenever I meet any of my customers, not even a single discussion will end without discussion about EV trucks. So yes, I think there is a larger understanding that EV trucks are there, and at some point of time, their customers are probably pushing them to kind of look at EV trucks. So discussions are happening, but are we converting them into some numbers? No, not yet. I think these operators are also going through a lot of calculations in their mind. Probably they are looking at, probably my colleague transporter, is he going to let him first adopt it, let him first buy those trucks, let me see from his experience. Having said that, I have seen some of the, operators who are really now ready to take plunge into this EV trucks and ready to take that risk. However, we as a manufacturer, we need to work closely with stakeholders like charging infra guy who has to engage with him, work with him to provide charging infra. So I would say early days, but a lot of discussions, still a lot of apprehensions.
I think the early adopters are going to play a vital role, and you'll probably have to go the extra mile to provide more support to them so that the overall community starts adopting it with more confidence in the future.
Absolutely, Karthik. In fact, I want to give example here of one of the startup, Charge Zone, whose sister concern is Billionaire, and we are executing their bulk order. And when we are executing this bulk order, for us, it's working jointly with them. In this journey, there is a constant learning for us also, for them also, and as a manufacturer, we are committed to ensure that they are successful in this journey, and accordingly, we have created a team which is responding to them 24/7. There are challenges, there are learnings, but together we are trying to address those. So definitely, as you rightly said, for adoption to grow, we need to create more such examples.
So Sanjeev, I'm happy to share that CoEZET over the last few months, we've been running a campaign called Nayi Soch Ki Sawari, right, across the country. So it's a pretty big project, and we are engaging directly with what we in CoEZET call the user layer. Drivers, small operators, pump operators, the local mechanics, the works. And during this, you'll be happy to know that overall there is positive sentiment with concerns. So, and we are not trying to sell them any fancy story. We are we felt that trust with the community is more important than convincing them. So we have been sharing facts with them. And where they have, there are a few areas where they have wrong impressions. And in some areas, they have genuine questions. So I just thought I'll run some of those questions past you. And it'll be interesting and important for us to hear from you on these points. First and foremost, majority of them, I'm guessing that this is because of the lead-acid two-wheelers, which crawl. I think this is coming from there. But most of them are convinced entirely wrongly that electric trucks will not have power. Pickup nahi hoga, that kind of perception. What do you have to say to them on this? Motion ban raha hai kya?
So it's, I think this is a wrong perception, and probably they have not seen the truck. And I think we as a manufacturer have a role to play. But drivability of electric trucks are far better than diesel truck, and they should be rest assured that driving a EV truck will be a much better experience than driving a diesel truck. And this is something which is coming out very clearly in all the user trials we have been doing for last few months. So all I would say is EV truck drivability is much better than diesel truck by far.
And this would cover things like going up a guard section or getting out of some slush, the torque to get you out of a depression, etc.
So, when we talk about our trials, Karthik, as I mentioned, we are doing trials on ghats also. And applications are carrying steel coils. So full load trials are being done, and EV trucks are doing much better job than diesel trucks in going through those ghats. So absolutely flawless performance when it comes to going through the ghats. So no issues at all.
Thank you. And the other concern which we've been hearing is how reliable will it be? Will I be able to get it serviced? Is there a warranty on the battery? Can I take a vehicle for granted?
So for us, EV trucks are no different than diesel truck when it comes to customer service. I'll start with in terms of what we are doing to prepare the ecosystem. All our dealerships are getting trained, and there is a continuous engagement. We have 18 service training centers across India, and every such training center is getting equipped to train our channel partners on EV trucks. We also have similar numbers of driver training issues, and we are going to start new driver training program also to train drivers on EV trucks also. Talking about batteries, I would say that our EV trucks carry similar kind of warranty what diesel trucks are, what we are offering on diesel trucks also. And in case of EV trucks, we have created a curated a program whereby we can actually offer AMC up to 10 years for these EV trucks. When it comes to diesel truck, we have 6-year AMC, but for EV trucks, we have now created a AMC which can go up to 10 years.
And this includes the battery in full.
So we have all the options. There is a comprehensive option which includes battery also. And in case customer does not want to have a AMC with battery, we can offer him AMC without battery also.
So actually the customer gets to decide. As of today, broadly at an industry level, not necessarily Ashok Leyland, but where do you see the cost of a 19-ton truck? Of course, it a lot depends on how much battery you're putting into the thing, and that is decided by the user. But the price range for 19-ton truck and the price range for a 55-ton tractor trailer.
So as you rightly said, Karthik, the price range for EV truck depends on two factors. One is your battery, and second is the motor. So these are the two critical components which decides the cost of this electric trucks. I would say broadly, if keeping 300 kilowatt hour as a standard battery, this thing, I would say it is around 1 CR, and for a 55 tonner, and somewhere around 70 lakhs for 90 tonner truck.
Before we close, I'm requesting that you give us a message that you would like to share with the trucking community.
These transitions are always challenging, but we at Ashok Leyland are committed to support you in this transition. Our goal is to provide you with reliable, efficient, and environment-friendly vehicles to contribute towards cleaner and healthier future for all of us.
So that brings us to the end of this episode. Sanjeev, extremely grateful, very grateful for your time on this. And it's important that the market hears from leaders like you from established brands like Ashok Leyland. So I really appreciate the time that you've taken for this and the way you've summarized the approach to electric trucks. A lot more to discuss. I think we'll take it up later. I'm requesting our users to continue to stay tuned and we'll have many more inputs coming for addressing all the concerns. Thank you very much.